Alright, so I had an idea to vlog this. Today I'm teaching Hope how to change the oil in a car. And along the lines of my whole audience is growing up with me, I realized that probably a lot of you have never changed your oil too. Some of how to do this is like a religious war, specifically picking out which oil to buy. But I'm just going to show you how I've done it. I've always done it. My cars last a long time, so we should be good. Anyway, sit back, relax. We're going to teach you how to change oil in a car. Okay, so your first step is picking out the oil. They have traditional motor oils, they have synthetic motor oils, they have hybrid motor oils. This is an area where some people get really into it. You know, maybe you've got a passion of yours. People are passionate about their motor oil. And I go and I think Bob's Oil was a website that I checked out, and AMSOIL is really top rated stuff. Mobil 1 is always top rated stuff. Look at your manual, see what you need. 5W30 is super common, so that's what I tend to get. Lately we've been running this extended performance to get 15,000 miles. I don't know if I trust it to go all 15,000, but I do let it run a little longer, like 7.5 or 10, and we've been happy with it so far. So this is what I'm gonna get. Mobil 1 is always rated high, everything. Like if you have a hard time remembering, you know, Castrol versus AMSOIL or Valvoline or whatever, then Mobil 1 is always top rated, but it's not the cheapest, and some people feel like there's better price performance in other oils or even better performance. But if you get Mobil 1 the oil, Mobil 1 the oil filter, then you're gonna do pretty well. And that's what I'm doing. You can save a few dollars if you go with one of the other ones and do your own research. But I'm just going to get an Mobil 1 extended performance, 5W30. That's what my car calls for. What this means is it's 5 weight at a minimum and 30 weight at a maximum. So when it's really cold, it won't be thicker than 30 weight. And when it's really hot, it won't be thinner than 5 weight. If it's really thick, like let's say hypothetically I was to run, there's like 50 or something, I'm sure I can find one. Here's a 20W50, right? If I were to run this in my car, then at 50, it might not circulate through the car's system like it's supposed to. So mine, you know, the tolerances and the spaces that the oil flows through is a better fit for 5W30 than 20W50. 20W50 might be for some old iron, like 1970s, you know, type car. Some people run them in their motorcycles, like their Harley Davidsons and things like that. But I recommend you just look at your manual, get what it tells you to get. Sometimes in the summer, people will run a 10W30, even though it calls for a 5W30, because they're not going to have, you know, issues with cold weather. But to keep it simple, I just get what my manual says to get, and that's 5W30. It lasts all year, and it happens to be for both my cars, so I like that. I like that I don't have to like stock different oils for different stuff. So that's that. All right, now we're gonna pick out our oil filter. Just about every store is gonna have one of these like filter catalog books. I found the page already. Here we are, 2004 4Runner. My wife has the V8. In Mobil 1, she needs the M1 102. So then we can go over here, pick out the M1 102, and throw it in the cart. Well, that's better. So we're gonna grab the air filter. It's kind of the same process, I won't film it, but we're almost done shopping. Again, K&N is a good name, AMSOIL is a good name, I think WoodyCraft is a good name. If you go with any of the OEMs, like if you get the Toyota oil filter itself from the dealership, they tend to be really good. But I usually just buy Mobil 1 because it's highly regarded. It's a little more expensive, but you just never go wrong. They always make sure that they stay toward the top of the heap. All right, a couple pieces of equipment I think you'll be interested in. One are the ramps. These ramps go under your tires. I'll show you that in a second. They're like 40 bucks, maybe 30 bucks. You can get them at AutoZone or whatever. Mine are maybe 12 to 15 years old. They last forever. They last about as long as people do. And they make metal ones too, but I have a preference for the plastic. One, they're seriously strong enough to hold, you know, anything they need to hold. And I just like the way they wear better. I like that if I drop them, it's not so loud. If I need to slide one into position, like it's not uncommon for me to like adjust it a little bit at the end. And I don't know, metal against concrete makes a sound I don't like. So anyway, these plastic little ramps If you have a truck like mine, you don't need it because you can slide under there. If you have a car, you truly do need it. But even with my truck, sometimes I like to lift it and just give myself a little more space. The other thing is this. Now this one's kind of old and worn, but this catches the oil. It's a nice big pan. Your filter goes here. Your drain plug can go in here. It usually doesn't fit. Mine's missing the middle cap, but the way it works is you fill it all up, and then when you're done, you can screw that in, and then of course you keep this guy screwed too. And that way, if you have a car or something, and you at the end of the day you're ready to recycle your oil, or maybe you do it at the start of the job, you can seal this thing up, and it's more or less watertight, so you can put it in like your trunk. Mine's missing the plug, as I mentioned, which would be a bigger issue for somebody else, but since I put it in the bed of this truck, and the bed of this truck is no, you know, you wouldn't want to eat all of it anyway. It doesn't bother me if a drop splashes out or something like that while I'm driving. The rain will take care of it. But yeah, this is the gear that you'll need that's kind of reusable. Some people use a funnel. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but you might want a funnel too. Anyway, all put together, this stuff is probably like maybe $50 or $60, probably closer to 50, and then you'll use it forever. All right. The first time I ever changed my oil, the part that I was most frightened, that intimidated me the most, was finding the oil pan and draining the right spot. When I was new to this, whatever, 25 years ago, I just didn't know that I'd be able to tell an oil sump from an alternator, and would like loosen the wrong thing or no oil would come out. So I'm going to try and help with that. I've got my assistant here. This is her first time ever actually doing this. So I'm starting out here so you can kind of see me approach the car, and maybe this will help you find it too. So yeah, we're going to come under here. All right.
My hair was clean before this.
That's a little twisty. We'll do less whining, please. And under the motor, there's going to be a great big oil pan. Mine looks like that. It goes for a long way. This is where the oil drains to when, I guess even when the car's running, but it all kind of accumulates in here. When your car runs, there's only a little bit in there, and kind of like a straw in a drink, it just sucks from the bottom, but it's not very deep. When your car turns off, all the oil drains down into that pan. And Hope, would you put a wrench on it?
Is the thing in the right
Is it set to loose? No, but loosen it for a bit. Get it started. Go ahead. Now do your thing.
In the head. This isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Let me see. Yeah, it's good.
That's doing what...
Yep, means you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, but this doesn't go right. This won't go.
It will.
I'm telling you.
I have faith in you. No. So hold it steady with your arm on one side and make it rotate.
Don't listen to me. I can't get it to go.
There it is.
No, Dad, it's not working. I can't do this. It's
okay,
too tight.
I'm going to loosen it for her. I'll be right back. It normally shouldn't be so tight. Okay, now we're going. She's loosening it. I'm going to scooch this as close as I can.
Hitting me in the face in the process.
She's grumpy, but we almost got this.
I'm getting hit in the face with oil cans. I think
you should be able to do it by hand now.
I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, you're going to get a little oil in your hand.
Oh, that's great.
And then just pull your hand out of the way. Ah, perfect.
This is a little... It's on your phone too.
All right, we're going to clean up. This is going to run for a little bit. Towards the end, the oil will drain like this. But in my experience, it does this for like a couple of minutes. So I just give it plenty of time. Let's locate the oil filter. Okay, this is my wife's motor. She likes to remind me how much more powerful her motor is than mine. The best truck in the multiverse. Anyway, this is the oil filter. If you look down in there, it's kind of shiny and Mine says Mobile 1 on it. Can you make up that upside down 1 with the gold in it? Maybe I can get further. That's my oil filter. Do you see it? Sometimes oil filters are nice, and like I know the late model Tacomas, they put it like right up here at the top, and it makes it super easy to service yourself and stuff. This one's kind of buried toward the bottom, which is more common. Anyway, when you tighten the oil filter, it's important not to over tighten it, but you don't want to under tighten it or it'll leak. If it leaks, it's not the end of the world. It's usually just a really tiny drip, and you spin it another quarter turn. But if you tighten it as hard as you're capable of, you're going to run into trouble. You won't be able to get it off again. You have a huge mechanical advantage with the way that the threads on this thing work, so that you can just tighten it until you think a rubber seal will do the job, and then you'll be all set. So I'm going to hand the camera to my assistant here, and don't cover the mic, please. She's going to film me doing this. Because this car's on ramps, it's kind of hard to get to the oil filter. Oh wait, I'm going to pull the, can you get this on the bottom? I moved this to catch any oil from the oil filter to about the right spot, I think. And oil will come out when you spin off the filter. I'll climb on here like a monkey, grab the filter, which I found again. And when I spin it off, I'm gonna quickly make it go like up and down, like a drinking glass, so that I don't spill more oil. Ah! I literally dropped the filter. Son of a gun. I'm rushing for you guys. I swear this is very uncommon.
You can always speed it up in post-production.
Oh, I got lucky. The filter dropped cup side up. Like I dropped a drinking glass and it dropped just like this.
Ooh,
This is the oil filter. You can see I got a little messy. But if you see the top of it, most of the oil did not spill out. It's right there if you can make it out. And my cuppy thing here has a little ledge for it, and I'll put it there and let it drain out. I'm usually a little better regarding the spillage than I am today, but that's why I put this on the asphalt instead of the concrete, because I care less. Cut. Okay, so come closer. This is the new oil filter. It's the same as the old one, a Mobile 1 oil filter. And this is some oil. The thing you do is you gotta lube up the new gasket here. Some people use the old oil, which is fine. I've done that too. But I don't know, I just feel better about using brand new oil. Now that this thing is wet, I'll call it, it's ready to screw on the new one. You need to make sure that the gasket from the last oil filter isn't still on there. You can just touch where it would go with your finger. It's never happened to me, but it does sometimes happen to people. And if you have two gaskets, it's more likely to leak. You'd think it'd be less likely, I guess, but it's not. So with that there, I'm going to climb in there and screw it back on. Cut. Okay, so some people like to measure how much oil they remove from the motor and put that much back in. I've always found that to be unnecessary. What I do instead is I look at the owner's manual, look at how much it holds, drain it all, and put it back. There'll be a different amount for with and without the oil filter, but I always change the oil filter when I change my oil too. So in this case, it's 6.2 liters. Some guys like a funnel, but I've never thought a funnel was really necessary, at least not on this car, because you can get the thing nice and close. And just go like this. This thing holds 6.2 quarts, so 1 down, 5.2 to go. Okay, so now we're gonna check the oil level and make sure that we use the right amount. I ran the car for like 1 minute. It does two things. One, it circulates the oil and lets it drain back down. The other is it changes it from a really, really clear oil to a slightly less clear oil, which makes it easier to see. You probably don't need that, but it helps with the camera. So I pull it out, I wipe it, which I already did, and you see this? Is it right? Can you focus on it? Are you good? It's right in the middle of those two dots. That's the target. Now, if you're anywhere in that range, you should be fine. If you're below it, then you may not have enough oil in there. And maybe when you're like, whatever, going up a steep hill or cornering sharply, then it'll slosh to the side and you won't be able to grab oil. If you're too high, that's bad too. You might not think it is, but what can happen is the bottom of the motor has all these moving parts, the crankshaft, and it'll splash in the oil and make it like frothy and bubbly. So you want to have the oil right in between those two dots, and that's where we are. So now our oil change is finished. Cut. All right. As a bonus, we're going to do the air filter. I usually do the windshield wiper fluid too, but I didn't buy any, and I don't think we need any. This is the air filter on my wife's 4Runner, and I'm going to pull this guy out, and this is what the old one looks like. This is bad. It's not extraordinarily bad to me, but it's probably worse than you want to get it. This is the new one for comparison, and we're going to drop this guy in, and come on, baby. There you go. It's as easy as that. Changing the air filter is extraordinarily simple. I'm done. So I do this maybe every other oil change. Not every single time, but every other time. And it keeps a fresh air filter in there. All these things, you know, having the right oil in there, the engine's working a little harder to suck air through this thing. They help with fuel economy to some minor extent. So it's just good to have your engine breathing clean air and breathing more easily. So that's what we're doing. And that's it, really. Bit of a premature cut, but and that's it. That's how you change your oil. When I'm not filming, it takes me about 30 minutes to change the oil and probably 30 minutes to go buy it. But oh, I might, well, you know, and I don't. I might also include taking it to the place and recycling the used oil, just to show you what that's all about. Because you got this container and you don't know what to do with it. I can show you that too, but I don't know. You will, and I don't at this point. But yeah, we're gonna call this good. This car is ready to drive. Cut. Okay, so I went to the AutoZone. There it is. But I wasn't able to get a footage of, I got a new helper. I wasn't able to get footage of me just like returning the oil because they never left me. Like every other place I've ever went to, you walk in there, I go behind the counter by myself and I pour the oil and I leave, and they can see my hands are filled with like motor oil. So they know exactly why I'm there. In this place, like it's way back. Like you go through, you sort of wind through the aisles in the back room, and the guy said that he likes to stay with me. Because one, I guess we don't hurt ourselves, and two, I guess we don't steal anything. He didn't say that, but I kind of got that vibe. But it's easy enough to return your oil. Pretty much every place that sells it, Pep Boys, AutoZone, Napa, I don't know, places that sell oil, also accept your used oil. And you bring it back, and then they recycle it and turn it into fresh oil or something. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they burn it, make diesel. Whatever it is they do with used oil, they recycle it. And it's good for the economy. It's good for the environment. That's actually what I meant to say. And but probably both. And it gets the used oil off your hands, because otherwise, what do you do with it? You know, you don't want to dump it down a sewer drain. That's obviously terrible for the world. You know, it's not easy to. Some municipalities will take it in recycling, like next to your trash can, but I don't think mine does that. So you can take it to your local landfill, and they usually take it there too. You know, they're landfill recycling nowadays. But yeah, I take it back to AutoZone. They have like in the back, they'll have a big, it's like a small watertight dumpster, and you pour it in there, and they take motor oil, gasoline, power steering fluid, transmission fluid, and not much else, but not antifreeze. If you change your antifreeze, apparently just a small amount of antifreeze can ruin a big batch of oil. So you don't put your antifreeze in there, but you put your oil in there. So I did that. I usually return my oil as I buy my next oil, like at the start of the next job, but I wanted to include this for you guys and you know, sort of complete the video. And now I guess next time I won't have to do that. Anyway, I really want to turn this car on, fire up the air. So that is how you change your oil. I hope this helps somebody.